The boy hadn't spoken. Not once. Not a single word since birth. At first, doctors blamed delays, then behavioral issues. Months turned into years. Family friends whispered about a quiet child and a sensitive soul. But something in the Westmore household had shifted. The Westmores were rich. Millionaire-level rich. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, cars that cost more than most homes. Money, it seemed, could solve anything, except their son's silence. And then came Clara. Clara was the new nanny. Young, smart, and black. She walked into the Westmore estate like she owned the place. The staff eyed her suspiciously. The Westmore social circle quietly judged. But Clara didn't notice. Her attention was on the boy. From the first day, things were strange. She didn't just feed him or dress him. She listened to him. She hummed songs in low, rhythmic tones. She drew shapes in the air above his crib. And slowly, ever so slowly, the boy's eyes began to track her. One morning, Mr. Westmore, a tall man with sharp suits and sharper expectations, stormed into the nursery. "What are you doing to him? He's never responded to anyone." Clara looked up calmly. "I'm not trying to make him talk," she said softly. "You just listen. That's all he needs." Mr. Westmore scoffed. "Listen? He needs a doctor, not a babysitter." But when he turned to leave, he saw something that made him freeze. The boy's tiny hand reached out, not to Clara, but to the toy in her hand. Then, slowly, he mirrored her movement. Days passed. The boy's mimicry grew sharper, more deliberate. He started responding to Clara's cues in ways no one expected. By week 2, he was pointing at objects. By week 3, he was forming simple gestures. Then came the first word, "Milk." Clara whispered it, soft and patient, and he repeated it. Mr. Westmore nearly dropped his phone. Did he just? Clara shook her head. Not yet, but soon. The household erupted. The Westmore's friends were invited over to see the miracle. Cameras flashed. Social media posts bragged about the miracle nanny. But inside the house, tension simmered. Something about Clara unsettled them. Not her race, not her presence. It was her calm confidence. She seemed to know things no one else did. One evening, Mrs. Westmore decided to test the boy. She stood in the doorway with a toy car. "Say car," she demanded, smiling artificially. The boy stared. Then, slowly, he shook his head. Not car. Not even no. Something else. Something more deliberate. Clara stepped closer. "Don't force him," she said. "Words are traps. He'll use them when he's ready." Then came the twist. The Westmores hired a child psychologist to evaluate the boy. Every test pointed to a rare condition, one that made speech nearly impossible for years. But when Clara was present, the boy passed every assessment effortlessly. Doctors were baffled. "It's impossible," one whispered. "He shouldn't respond like this." Clara didn't flinch. "He's not broken," she said. "He's waiting for someone to see him. And now I do." One night, Mr. Westmore snuck into the nursery. He wanted proof that Clara was somehow influencing his son unnaturally. What he saw stopped him cold. The boy was in his crib, asleep. Clara was sitting cross-legged on the floor. She hummed a soft melody, and the boy's lips moved in time, soft whispers forming words no one could understand. Then the boy's eyes opened, wide, dark, and he whispered, "Daddy, don't lie." Mr. Westmore froze. His mouth went dry. He had been lying to his son, to everyone, about the child's condition, about his involvement in family affairs. The boy had seen it all. The next morning, Clara was gone. Just like that. A note lay on the nursery dresser. "He's ready now." "You're not." The boy was quiet again. But something had changed. A spark, a glance, a recognition. The Westmores realized they were powerless, not because they lacked money, but because someone had seen the truth before they had. And then came the call, a number they didn't recognize, a voice calm, unwavering. "Keep him safe, or someone else will." Mr. Westmore dropped the phone. "What do you mean?" he whispered. But the voice was already gone. Outside the house, A black car sat idling, tinted windows, engine humming like a predator waiting for its moment. The boy stood in the window, tiny fists clenched. His eyes, once vacant, now burned with something dangerous. And for the first time, the Westmores understood the truth. Their son had witnessed everything, and now he was ready to act. The Westmores were nervous. The boy hadn't spoken since Clara left, but something in his stare had changed. Sharp, calculated, knowing. Mr. Westmore paced the marble hallway. She's gone, he's still watching. Mrs. Westmore tried to smile, but her voice quivered. Maybe he's just imitating what Clara taught him. But the truth was far more chilling. The boy began pointing at objects around the house. Not randomly. Not toys. Documents. Files. Envelopes. Papers Mrs. Westmore assumed were private. He pointed at the safe in Mr. Westmore's office. He mimicked typing, small, precise movements like someone who had seen it all before. And then he whispered, "Numbers don't lie." Panic set in. Mr. Westmore realized Clara hadn't just taught the boy to speak. She had taught him to observe, to remember, to understand patterns no adult had noticed. Weeks of whispered family secrets, hidden accounts, off-the-books investments, lies layered on top of lies. The boy had absorbed everything. It wasn't just a miracle. It was a ticking time bomb. Then came the first confrontation. The Westmores tried to bribe him. Expensive toys, candy, gadgets. Nothing worked. He looked at them, unblinking, as if saying, "I see you. I know." Desperate, Mr. Westmore tried reasoning. "Son, you have to trust us. We love you." The boy shook his head. "Love hides lies." Mr. Westmore's heart sank. The nanny hadn't just given him a voice. She had given him clarity. And clarity was dangerous. The twist hit like a thunderclap. A private investigator they had hired to check on Clara called. "She's gone underground. No trace." But she left instructions. "Your son is not just observing. He's documenting everything. Every whispered argument. Every hidden financial move. Every secret they thought buried." The investigator's voice dropped. Mr. Westmore, she trained him to protect himself. And maybe to protect others. That night, the boy woke up. His tiny hand gripped his father's wrist. "Follow me," he whispered. The Westmores froze. Follow him? At 6 years old? Downstairs, the safe lay open. Files had been copied, neatly stacked. Bank statements, incriminating emails, contracts. All of it. The boy handed a folder to his mother. "Read, then understand." Mrs. Westmore's hands shook as she flipped the pages. Shock, horror, the family fortune, manipulations, corruption, every lie exposed in black and white. Mr. Westmore's knees buckled. How does a child? He learned from Clara. The boy said, "Eyes steady. And now you will too." Then the final twist. The phone rang. No caller ID. A deep, calm voice. "You know too much. They're coming." The Westmores froze. "Who?" Mr. Westmore asked, voice barely audible. "People who don't forgive secrets," the voice replied. "And they won't wait for permission." Outside, headlights streaked past the Westmore estate. Fast. Too fast. And somewhere, a black SUV waited. Engine rumbling. Tinted windows hiding intentions. The boy stepped back, small but defiant. "They won't scare me," he said. "I have everything I need." And then, from the shadows, a figure moved. Clara? Or someone new? No one could tell. The Westmores realized the truth. Too late. They hadn't just lost control of their son. They had lost control of the story of their lives. The night stretched long. The mansion silent. But one thing was clear. The boy wasn't just speaking. He was choosing. And whatever came next would change the Westmores forever. The mansion was silent, but the tension was suffocating. Every shadow seemed to move, every whisper a threat. The Westmores had never felt so powerless. The boy led them to the study. Clara's handwriting sprawled across folders, notes, diagrams, everything meticulously organized. Why all this? Mrs. Westmore asked. her voice trembling. The boy's eyes locked on hers. "To show you the truth," he said simply. "You can't hide from it anymore." The folders weren't just about family finances. They detailed deals, hidden offshore accounts, bribes, and secret partnerships. Names, dates, transactions. The boy had learned to map every lie, every manipulation. Mr. Westmore's face went pale. This can destroy us." "Exactly," the boy whispered. Suddenly, the phone rang again. No number. The calm voice returned. "You think you're safe inside your walls? You're not, and soon you'll have to choose." The Westmores froze. Fear clawed at them. The boy walked to the window, peering into the dark estate grounds. "They're coming," he said, "but I know how to stop them." Mr. Westmore swallowed hard. "Stop them? Who are they?" The boy's expression hardened. "People who protect secrets by destroying lives." Then came the shock. Clara appeared, silent, at the edge of the study. She was calm, impossibly calm. She had vanished months ago, but here she was, like a shadow from a nightmare or a guardian angel. "You've done well," she said to the boy. "But now the real test begins. Do they deserve mercy or exposure?" The Westmores had no words. The child who couldn't speak for years was now the center of power. Clara turned to them. "You raised a monster," Mrs. Westmore stammered. "Or a protector," the boy said, correcting her. Outside, the hum of engines grew louder. SUV headlights flashed through the trees. Clara motioned. "He knows what to do. But you must answer for your choices. Every lie, every secret. The world is watching now, and so am I." The boy picked up a folder marked confidential, legal evidence. He handed it to his father. "Read, decide, or someone else will." The Westmores' hands shook. They had a choice: comply, confess, or face the unknown. And in that moment, the first car doors opened outside. Figures stepped out, silhouettes against the dark, faces obscured, intentions unclear. The boy smiled faintly. "They don't scare me," he said. "I've already learned everything I need." Clara stepped back, melting into the shadows. "Your move," she whispered. The engines roared closer. Footsteps crunched on gravel. The Westmores froze, panic rising. The boy didn't flinch. He glanced at Clara's discarded folder. Every secret, every plan, every trap meticulously mapped. "They think they can intimidate us," he whispered. "But they forgot one thing. I've been listening for years." The first figure emerged from the darkness. Tall, menacing, face shadowed by a hood. In his hand, a device blinking red. Mr. Westmore stammered. What do you want?" The boy stepped forward, calm, voice steady. "I want the truth. Everything you're hiding. And I want it now." The figure laughed, a cold, hollow sound. "You have no idea who you're dealing with, kid." The boy's eyes narrowed. "I've spent my whole life watching people like you. I know your moves before you make them." Inside the mansion, lights flickered. Security alarms tripped silently. Cameras recorded every inch. Another figure appeared, a woman, sharp, dangerous. She scanned the room, confident. "Step aside, boy. This isn't your fight." "It is my fight," he said, holding up a folder. "And I'm ready." Suddenly, the devices in the intruder's hands beeped violently. Something in the folders, a hidden code, triggered the alarms. Panic flashed across their faces. The boy moved with a precision no one expected. Doors slammed shut, locking automatically. Hallways illuminated with a soft blue glow. Every escape route cut off. "Impossible," the woman hissed. "How did you?" "I've been trained," the boy replied, voice calm, "by someone who taught me that silence doesn't mean weakness, and secrets are power." The intruders regrouped outside, shouting commands into radios. But inside, the mansion had transformed. Every hallway, every room became a maze. CCTV cameras tracked their every move, streamed to an unknown server. Clara's lessons came rushing back to him. Observation, strategy, patience. Every corner of this house had been a classroom for years. Suddenly, the tallest intruder lunged. The boy sidestepped, pushing a panel on the wall. The floor beneath the man's feet shifted slightly. He stumbled. "Enough games!" The intruder growled. "You have no idea who you're messing with." "I know exactly who I'm messing with," the boy said, "and soon everyone else will too." The Westmores huddled in the study. Terror etched on their faces. Their son, the child they'd underestimated, ignored, silenced, was now the one holding all the power. Why is this happening?" Mrs. Westmore whispered. "Because you underestimated him," the boy said simply. "And because you underestimated the quiet ones. The ones you think don't see, don't hear, don't understand." Outside, sirens wailed in the distance. Someone had called the authorities, but the boy wasn't afraid. He had prepared for every contingency. He looked at the intruders through the cameras. A faint smile. "Your move," he said, almost to himself. Then, the twist no one expected. Clara's voice echoed from hidden speakers. "They didn't come here for the money," she said. "They came for you. And now you have to decide, will you survive or expose them?" The boy's pulse quickened. Every secret he had collected, every moment of silence he endured, had led to this. A shadow moved near the main entrance. One of the intruders had bypassed the traps. He held a small device, one that could end everything. The boy swallowed, steadying himself. "This isn't over," he whispered. "Not for them, not for me." The mansion trembled slightly as the intruder advanced. Every step was deliberate, every movement precise. The boy glanced at the Westmores. They were powerless, but that didn't matter anymore. He had the knowledge, he had the power, and he had the courage that had been taught, not bought. Then the lights went out. Silence. Total darkness. A single sound cut through the tension. A click, like a trigger being pulled. Darkness. Silence. The boy held his breath, every sense alert. The intruder's footsteps echoed in the hall. Closer, deliberate, menacing. Then a soft hum. A faint glow from the hidden panels illuminated the hallway. Cameras tracked the intruder, streaming his every move to the boy's device. He wasn't alone. Clara's voice came through the hidden speakers. "You taught him well. Now watch." The intruder reached the center of the hall. He held the small device, intended to disable the mansion's security systems. One press, and the boy's years of planning could collapse in seconds. But the boy had expected this. With a flick of his fingers, a silent mechanism activated. The hallway shifted, walls sliding, doors locking. The intruder was trapped. "Impossible!" the man shouted, pounding the walls. "Nothing is impossible," the boy replied, voice steady. "Not when you've learned to listen in silence." Suddenly, a second intruder appeared on the surveillance feed. A woman, elegant but ruthless, smirked at the camera. "You've cornered my partner," she said, "but I still have leverage." "Leverage?" the boy said. "You mean secrets?" She froze. She hadn't realized that every file she thought destroyed, every conversation she thought private, had been recorded. Every move they made had been anticipated. The boy activated a final trap. Floodlights snapped on, illuminating the entire mansion. Screens on the walls displayed emails, videos, and documents, proof of the intruder's schemes, blackmail attempts, and threats. The woman gasped, realizing exposure was inevitable. You recorded everything?" she whispered. "I observed everything." The boy corrected. "You underestimated what silence can teach you." Police sirens grew louder. Clara's voice returned. "They're on their way. You don't need to do more." But the boy didn't move. He approached the intruders calmly. "You thought I was just a silent child," he said, eyes sharp. "But silence isn't weakness. It's preparation. And preparation wins." The intruders tried to escape, but every exit had been secured. Within minutes, authorities arrived. Finding the intruders trapped, devices confiscated, and evidence overwhelming. The Westmores watched, stunned. Their son, the boy they had assumed powerless, had turned the tables completely. The child who never spoke now commanded the room with authority, courage, and precision. "He did all this?" Mr. Westmore whispered. "Yes," Clara said softly. And he learned it all from observing, from listening, from understanding that respect is earned, not demanded. In the aftermath, the story went viral. News outlets hailed the boy as a prodigy, a genius strategist, and a symbol of vigilance. Social media exploded. The child who had been silent for years had finally spoken, and the world listened. But the boy didn't boast. He returned to his room, still quiet, still observant. Silence was his armor, knowledge his weapon, and he had learned the greatest lesson of all. Never underestimate those who appear quiet. Sometimes the most powerful voices are the ones you cannot hear until they decide to speak. And just when the world thought it was over, a mysterious letter arrived at the Westmore's mansion. No sender, no return address, only 3 words. This isn't over. The boy opened it slowly, eyes widening. Whatever threat had been looming before was just the beginning. If you were inspired, kindly support our channel. Like and subscribe for more interesting and powerful stories.